You do me, I'll do you. Oh, wait. You do me, you do you.
No, still wrong. You do you, I'll do me.
You do you, I'll do me, and we just all have yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Welcome to Cue the Mic.
Welcome to Cue the Mic. Episode 3, I think, so.
Episode 3.
I know
Wow.
we made it past 1.
Wow,
Made it past
committed.
2.
Committed.
Yeah. 3 starts a trend, doesn't it? Isn't that how
Wow,
that goes?
Right. And I think,
Again.
gosh, I just have so much trouble with this head.
Yeah,
It's just
Darren
like
and technology don't really.
I'm thinking I'm maybe get this head shine off.
Oh, jeez. For our audio listeners, Darren's trying to cover the glare from his bald head, so
Yeah.
he just
doesn't
wrapped a
work,
T-shirt
but,
around
well,
like a.
Guess
I don't
what?
even know what you'd call that, but
Is what it is.
embrace
what
the
it is.
balding.
Embrace the balding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Emma says I need to get a hair transplant. I'm like, are you kidding me? I got way too much hair. It's crazy. I'm going to go for the shaved head thing, except for I'm too lazy to do that every day.
Right. And it would just save the glare situation.
Either
Unless you
that
need to-
or,
We just need to make you a studio.
yeah, I got to get a studio with lighting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having a hard enough time to figure out a mic and a camera
I know.
that is crappy that I got this,
If I just could set it all up for you, I would.
brand new camera, whatever, that then we have all kinds of problems with. So
That's the life of having technology, honestly.
that's the life of technology. It's frustrating.
It's supposed to make your life easier.
It doesn't
Ah,
ever.
maybe sometimes.
Okay.
Maybe sometimes. So what's been going on? What's up? I feel like I haven't seen you in a while.
Well, spent a little, about 10 days working off site.
Working, in air quotes.
Working on the patio in Florida. Actually, there wasn't too much working. Griffin and family,
Yeah.
Griffin and Henley Grace, spent the week with us in Florida. And if you've never experienced a week solid 24/7 with a 3-year-old and a 9-month-old, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm glad that's why Sherry raised our kid, and we only had one.
I don't think.
She did. She did. Sherry pretty much raised Haley. I was on the road a lot, so that was my excuse. But lots of fun. Did a lot of cooking, just simple cooking. But Griffin is just a cooking fool. So when
Takes
he
after
walks
his
in,
grandpa.
when he walks in the door, he just loves food. And so when he walks in the door, the first thing, hey, Papa, what we cooking? Hey, Papa, what we cooking? Followed by 50 million other questions. Hey, Papa, why are we doing this? So he understands the mechanics of cooking. He understands, I try and take him through recipes.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say we're making chocolate chip cookies, and
Yeah.
I'll lay out the ingredients for him, and, he'll help me. He refuses to let me dump a measuring cup of anything into a bowl. He has to do that. So I'll help him kind of level it out just so he doesn't make a mess everywhere.
Right.
And it's just crazy that we go through the recipe and you need sugar and flour and salt and whatever. And then after about an hour after we make the cookies, I'll go back and say, Griffin, okay, what did we put in these cookies? Flour, sugar, so it's just fun. His mind is crazy of what that kid knows from how to cook. He just he knows.
You're gonna have a little foodie buddy.
Yeah, he the funniest thing is Griffin cracked a dozen eggs for me every morning.
Mm-hmm.
There was 5 of us down there or whatever, and he actually can crack a dozen eggs by himself at the age of 3.
Yeah, I don't think I
Emma,
can crack
Emma,
an egg properly.
Emma, can you crack eggs properly?
I can crack
at the
eggs
age
properly.
of 24?
Yeah, I can. I mean, I didn't learn until I was probably 8 or 9, but
Yeah. So he's
I was
kind of
really trusted in
talented.
the
So
kitchen.
we had a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. He's got so
Yeah.
much energy, and
Well,
that was
he's
coming off
3,
of.
so.
Yeah, he is 3, and little sister Henley Grace. She's just in that adorable stage. She just kind of hangs
Yeah.
out, and her
She's
brother's
cute.
running around, and she just kind of hangs out, and she's becoming kind of a snuggle bubby.
That's
So
always good.
yeah, lots of
Yeah.
fun. But before that, did a little competition. I don't think
Mhm.
we've caught up since Osage City.
I don't think so either.
Went down to Osage City, Kansas a few weeks ago, and 105 teams. I think almost everybody in the country, the who's who of barbecue, was there, and
That was pretty spur of the moment, wasn't it?
oh yeah, that was spur of the moment. That was kind of decided Wednesday night at 5 o'clock that I was going to cook this barbecue. 7 o'clock that I was going to cook this barbecue contest. So I forgot about that. It was like crazy, like run to the store and get chicken that night and start trimming chicken and getting everything ready to go because I needed to be on the road Friday to this contest, which was about 5 hours away. So I pulled it off. I was by myself. Yeah. Sherry looked at me and gave me the old, what's the weather look like? And I'm like, it's going to be okay. A little chilly, a little windy. I'm out. She's kind of the fair weather barbecue fan now, which is fine.
I don't blame her.
Yeah. So anyway, pulled it off. Decided to try. Since I was by myself, I always get to experiment.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have Sherry going, "Why are you doing that for?" So I kind of just took like 2 barbecue rubs and a couple sauces and said, "Hey, I'm going to try this on all 4 meats."
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, was able to get 2 top 10 calls and 4th overall out of the field. So it was pretty exciting. I can't wait to go again next so that I can try my 2 rubs, 2 sauces combination again to see if it's for real or
Right.
if it's for real or if it was just a fluke.
Yeah. When is your next competition?
I think I'm off here for a couple weeks. Haley bought a new house, so of course, everything associated with getting ready for the house and moving and stuff, and plus, we hadn't been in the restaurant too much, so and
and it's
so
like
I
the
thought,
busiest,
well,
one of the second busiest time of the year for us.
yeah, it's
Graduation
crazy. So
season.
I probably won't get out until the second. I think we go to Minnesota the second, where I go at least. Sherry might go. The second week in May, we head up to Minnesota, and then we come back down to Ottumwa, Iowa. But
You're going to Ottumwa?
Oh, I knew I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. So
when Emma,
I'm from Ottumwa. Well, kind of. I lived there when I was little. I went to college there. That's where all my friends are. So maybe I'll go to that competition.
So you know what that means? That's exactly. As soon as I said Ottumwa, what that exactly means is Emma's going to be there with her camera
Or filming
and
TikToks.
her microphone and filming TikToks and doing all this stuff.
Maybe we record an episode of the podcast on site.
We could try.
It'd be an experience.
Yeah, it would definitely be an experience.
We could have all sorts of interviews.
I know my buddy Luke Darnell at the Pitmaster podcast. He does that all the time.
Right.
He's doing that. I think he's doing that today down in North Carolina. So.
That's fun.
So anyway, kind of off the barbecue trail, for a little bit here, trying to, catch up on restaurant business. It's it's kind of a crazy time, like you said, for that. And graduation season is like
full
on
swing.
us.
Yeah.
This weekend, a few of them, but the next 2 weeks are just murder.
Yeah.
From a catering standpoint.
Yeah. My brother's graduation parties, I think, in 2 weeks. So
2 weeks being catered by
the Ornery Chicken and Smokey D's as well.
And Smokey D's? What do we have from Smokey D's?
I believe potato casserole and mac and cheese.
Really?
Which I kind of took a little offensive considering we have a mac and cheese kitchen as well. But
yeah.
it's a fan favorite. I just let it slide.
It's a fan favorite.
Yeah. But yeah, 325 chicken tenders. And
Popular.
yeah.
Emma's
done
family's
before. Yeah,
Emma's family's very popular, outgoing citizens in the great town of Van Meter. So anyway.
Yeah, we are. Well, and we had the first graduation party that we even tried the chicken tenders at was my sister's a couple years ago. And I have family that still ask me about them. So I'm pretty excited to bring them. Go to the Honorary Chicken. Yeah. A lot of them live in the Ottumwa area, so they're like, oh, well, I'll think about it. It's like, you're not going to come up to Ankeny. So instead, I'm just going to bring it to them.
Worth the drive,
Again, it is, I think, but I just have to start delivering. Maybe we should take the food truck down there with just some chicken. That'd help me out.
Yeah. Would you drive the food truck an hour and a half? Evidently, you've never driven in the food truck for an hour and a half.
Did you show me how?
No.
I'd do it. I'd give it a try.
I remember when I first bought the food truck, I bought it off a guy in Arizona. Okay, and we did this little video walkthrough. I said, "Oh, it's easy." I said, I can drive a truck. I'm gonna fly down to Phoenix and grab this thing and drive back. And the guy's like, "No, you're not." And I'm like, "What do you mean? It's not." He goes, "Oh, you might make it back." He says, "But if you've ever ridden in a food truck or driven a food truck," he said, "I'm guessing by the time you got to New Mexico, you would be suicidal."
Yeah, the motion sickness in that would be I've ridden in that thing once in Ankeny. Granted, it was during construction season and my driver was a bit chaotic, but that was an experience like no other experience I've ever had in my life. And I
there's just a lot of, I mean, you take a truck, every food truck's this way. You know, you love to have them, and probably the best day you'll ever have is when you sell it, kind of like owning a boat. But there's just a lot of equipment in there that's stainless steel, and it just jangles, and utensils, and it just, everything goes flying. If everything's not tied down, it's bouncy. I mean, it's a truck that has 300,000 miles on it. I mean, it's about due to just be retired to a roadside stand where it goes nowhere ever.
Right outside the restaurant?
No, somebody else's roadside stand.
Okay, I was gonna say.
We'll get a new improved one and ride it for another 100,000 miles.
Yeah, then I'll take that one to Ottumwa.
So anyway, but graduation season, crazy. You know, it's super stressful on the catering staff because, if you could imagine, you have every mom that has all this stress in their life trying to figure out how do they plan the perfect party. And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't really matter. And so they always overplan. So we try and they're like, we're going to have 350 people. And I'm like, yeah, but you understand there's 10 graduations other people are going to on this day. So you're really only going to have 150 people that are going to eat. And they're really only going to eat a lot. Now, your family, they're going to sit around all day and pig out. So you got to kind of accomplish that. But we put out these graduation menus based upon kind of half-size portions. So, a normal mom calls in and says, hey, I want to do it for 250. And the smart thing to do would be, okay, I'll give you 250 food. You sure you don't need 300? But instead, we try and talk them down to reality and be their friend and say, well, you really don't want to spend that much money.
Right.
Really, let's think about it. Only half are going to do it. And once you start talking through it, then they understand. And so we've never had a graduation party, even at half portions, that's ever called back and say we ran out of food. I mean, most of the time it's like we were right on, or we still had a bunch left over, didn't have as many people as expected.
Yeah. And it's always that fear of, am I going to have enough food? But when you think about it, especially for graduation parties, I feel like everyone tends to forget the fact that like it's not just your kid graduating. So most of the time, like you said, there's going to be 5 or 6 parties in a day that most of those people are going to go to as well. And
unless there's beer
everyone's
going
to have food.
Do they have beer? I remember my graduation party. We had beer, but is there beer at the graduation parties these days?
I think it depends on the person. Not at ours.
There's not?
No.
Is your dad secretly in the basement chugging them?
No. My dad.
He's not?
No. No, I think once the party starts to die down, most of the time, my siblings have been doing it kind of more in the morning.
Yeah.
So they're one of the first ones of the day. So most people do end up eating at ours because it's the first one of the day.
Right.
But no, my parents, they'll wait until the party's really died down or it's pretty much over before they crack open a drink.
Yeah.
I think. I'm going to have to wait, which is fine. I
You
can do
are?
that.
Why? Are you the guest of honor or something? Or?
No, but I got to look responsible. So.
Oh.
So
Okay.
take it easy, you know.
So anyway, back to so if you're a mom, listen
Yeah.
to this, or a dad,
Yeah.
just talk yourself out of full portions. You know, portions. We do the same thing with kids buffets at weddings. You know, people order for weddings, and I got 250. How many are kids? 40. Well, kids aren't going to eat a full portion. How about we throw some chicken nuggets and mac and cheese off to the side and kind of save a little money doing that. And you know, we're all about, and I think that's part of our success in the catering business is trying to talk people into reality versus what they think they need. Try and, hey, let's not overdo this. And I think that pays off, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of hope we have leftover chicken tenders at my brother's because that'll feed me for a week.
Well, at 350, I'm guessing. 350 chicken tenders, I'm guessing. Maybe not. I don't know. It's not your first rodeo. Out of the old Griffin
No, this is the fourth, the last one. She's done after this.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel like this one's probably been the most stressful for her in a sense, though, too. I don't know why, because she's got 3 under her belt, but Carter's not as helpful as I was, or Josie was.
Yeah, most moms. I don't even think it's the food or the party. I think it's, you know, every mom in the world, and I say moms because I think it's majority of the moms. Sometimes it's probably the bad is everything has to look perfect at my house. My landscaping has to be pristine. My kitchen needs repainted and all this stuff. So there's all these home improvement projects. I'm like, it's a graduation party. It's a graduation party. They know you live here, right? You let anybody else into your house any other day, or your family over for any other day, and you don't do that. But it's a graduation party, so we got to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah, that's so funny you said that. So our garage is where the graduation parties are. Our garage is kind of like our hangout spot in my parents' house. It's where they watch all the games. We got TVs out there. We got beer fridges out there. We have tables and stuff. Like, that's in the summer, or like between spring and fall. No cars park in there. That's just where everyone comes to drink and watch games. So, I don't know. A handful of years ago, my mom, painted the floor to make it look a little nicer. But over the last couple of years, it's had a little wear and tear. So because of Carter's graduation party, she repainted the garage floor. And it had to be done before his graduation party. I mean, it looks nice, but it's just one of those things. It's like, you could have waited until after, I guess, if you wanted. Or not at all, but...
Wow, it's one
it
of
looks
those things.
good. But it's
I mean, how many people... Okay, answer this question.
Okay.
How many people are going to walk in and go, wow, nice floor?
None.
0.
Yeah.
0.
I mean, I did the first day I saw it, but that's because we were staring at it. It's like, yeah, nice floor. You did a good job, but...
And now put all these tables with pictures and videos.
It's peace of mind for her, so I get that.
Yeah,
It just makes her feel better. Yeah, every house has had a big project. I think mine was like a landscaping project, and JJ's was like a privacy fence or something, and Josie's was Another landscaping project. There's
I
been
think it was
one
a
for all
kitchen
4 of us.
remodel. There was a kitchen remodel in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, that would have been Josie's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. There was a kitchen remodel.
That's crazy.
But looks nice now. Yeah. I do think that's funny though, because me and my youngest brother are 6 years apart, so every 2 years she's doing a new project about.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. But
Crazy. What else is crazy in the world? There's a lot of shit crazy.
That's a loaded question. I don't know if we want to get into that.
Oh, it's kind of funny. One little story about the whole, and we won't get into the political views because we'll disagree or whatever. But one little thing about the Bud Light controversy. So, to me, and we've talked about this before, it's marketing, right? They're trying to market to a certain
they want to be an all-inclusive beer.
Yeah, and they're it offended some of their older guys. So anyway, we're down in Florida and we got this neighbor, and every day, starting at noon or 1 or 2 or whatever until 5 o'clock is happy hour. And he opens his garage doors, and whoever else in the neighborhood wants to come over always comes to Gary's house. And Gary, of course, I walk over there, and they're all drinking Bud Light. And I said, wow, Gary. And he starts bitching about it. And he's like just totally bitching about the marketing, and I'm kind of just going along, not really taking a neutral position. And I said, wow, that's really weird. You're not like boycotting it like the world is? And he's like, well, no, I like the taste of it. And I said, oh. He goes, it's just my estrogen. And so now, and so now every time he'll be like with one of his buddies, he'll say, hey, go get us a can of estrogen. So and it's just funny how it's like totally complaining, but I'm not switching.
Right. Yeah, the whole thing is. We could do a whole episode on that, honestly, but we shouldn't, and we won't.
We won't because...
No. We're not here to push opinions.
Exactly. It's just marketing.
Yeah.
Because, and we've learned that. I can in about 15 seconds, I can make Emma's blood boil. Yeah. Not even know I'm doing it, but it's just, why can't we just all get along?
I ask myself that question every day.
You do me, I'll do you. Oh, wait. You do me, you do you.
No, still wrong. You do you, I'll do me.
You do you, I'll do me, and we just all have a, yeah.
Jesus.
Something tells me this is going to make the opening.
No, I don't think so.
It's not? Okay, Emma's in charge of deciding what gets.
I mean, it might. Who knows?
The opening snippet. Yeah, it'd be great. So, what do you? What have you been?
Actually, I've been wanting to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned when Darren called me today, he said he made some pesto, which
Pesto.
I don't know if we talked about it in the last episode or which one, or if we even have on the podcast. I love pesto. I got introduced to pesto, oh God, it's been 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. I have a friend who is from Italy, and he loves making pasta with pesto or anything with pesto. He just likes pesto. And so I've grown a love for pesto. And I've been asking Darren, like, oh, have you tried this? Or when he asks, what should I make for dinner, I suggest pasta with pesto or chicken with pesto. I do a chicken pesto pasta that I really like. When I do cook. And
right.
Yeah, and today you said that you attempted to make some, which I'm really excited to try.
So funny thing, I've never had one
had
taste. I've never had one test of pesto, don't even pesto, whatever. Pesto or chimichurri. Never had it in my life. Right?
I don't think I've had chimichurri.
But it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Except for in my research, chimichurri doesn't have the nuts, but has like red wine vinegar, so it must have a little tang to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm scrolling around through. I don't even think this one. It was TikTok. It was TikTok because that's where most of my recipe inspiration comes
Yeah.
from. But I'm rolling through there and I see this pesto, but
Mhm.
it's a dry mix, shelf stable dry mix.
Yeah.
And you take this dry mix and then you mix it with olive oil to kind of rehydrate the basil and the parsley, and which I'm not sure parsley just turns shit green. I mean, there's no flavor. But anyway, nonetheless, and this one
Mhm.
happened to be a gluten-free recipe. And which I thought was kind of weird, but I'm like, so instead of having Parmesan cheese, it required nutritional yeast. Now, of course, this took about an hour
Parmesan
of
cheese has gluten in
research.
it.
Maybe it was a dairy or vegan recipe. I don't know. It
I
was
was
one
gonna
of
say,
those. It was one of those.
gluten
Just
is gluten. You would need
yeah,
yeast.
yeah.
You
Okay,
need yeast for gluten.
okay, so it was a dairy vegan. I don't
Okay.
know, but who
Okay.
cares?
I was just
But
confused.
it had. So I spent a half hour walking around Hy-Vee trying to find
Yep.
nutritional yeast. Finally found it because I had to go
Mhm.
to the other section. The the
Yeah.
it used to
Yeah.
be
The like
it
in.
used to be one aisle and now there's 8 aisles of gluten free and dairy free and
You were
da
in
da 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 da.
Hy-Vee.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the bougie part of Hy-Vee. It's kind of the
Okay, I'll
wellness
call that.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, and I go there once in a while, just check out what's going on.
Mhm.
I'm not against. Uh, but I get this nutritional yeast and I taste it and I'm like, tastes like Parmesan cheese. Okay.
Ooh.
So I threw it in, I mixed it up, and I'm like, okay, mixed it up. I roasted the nuts instead of pine nuts, which I think has to have. It had almonds and walnuts to make the recipe cheaper. But ultimately, what I'm trying to figure out is it something we can do in the restaurant, the Crafty Mac, the Ornery Chicken, that we can use a dry mix and
Mhm.
make up a batch of mix. So instead of making up fresh pesto,
Yeah.
and it only lasts for a day,
Right.
you got to figure out, okay, can I come up with a solution that I can make a dry mix for the last 2 weeks, and every time I need it, I just make up a little batch every day, and
Mhm.
will it work? The
Yeah.
problem is I don't have a clue whether it's good or not. So you're going to find out here in a
Right.
little bit. We'll figure out if it's
This is where
good
I come in
and
handy.
if it needs tweaked, but then we might tweak the recipe. And I tasted it and I'm like, it needs a little heat, so I put a little red pepper flake in it and kind of changed it a little bit because chimichurri has red pepper flake in it. So maybe this is going to be a pesto churri. But
Yeah, I
anyway,
think you just made your own thing. Because pesto's
no,
not supposed to have any heat.
okay. So and I could see where I would enjoy it
Well,
with
I guess I
fresh
don't know if it's
herbs
not
and
supposed to.
spices.
Mhm.
But in a restaurant that may only sell 2 or 3 portions of this a day, that really
Right.
isn't. It doesn't make sense. So first, I got to find out, is this
Good.
good enough?
Right.
It's probably not going to be great,
Right.
but is it good enough to be portrayed as pesto that we can use it in a chicken recipe, or we can use it in a
Mm.
pasta recipe and fulfill
Chicken.
that? So we'll find out.
A chicken sandwich on the focaccia with a little pesto and tomato,
Yeah.
basil,
Oh.
mozzarella. Oh, game changer.
Yeah.
That'd be
Oh,
my
yeah.
order
Oh, you put
every
fresh
day.
mozzarella. I suppose you want fresh mozzarella on there. So now it's a
Preferably,
$20
but
sandwich. Yeah.
we don't have to. We could just I sprinkle it. I'm cheap. Come on.
Right. And then
But
last night Griffin came over,
yeah.
so we had to cook. And so of
Mhm.
course when Griffin comes over, what are we gonna cook, Papa? So that's as soon as he walks in the door. What are we cooking, Papa? So I'm like, I've kind of become in aspiring to find the best pepperoni roll.
I've never had a pepperoni roll.
Yeah, so pepperoni rolls. My buddy Luke Darnell,
Mhm.
once again,
Mhm.
shout out, Pitmaster
Shout out to Luke.
podcaster. Yeah. Anyway, he's brought them to me for years on the barbecue circuit, and in essence, what it is kind of a cheese. Sometimes they're pepper jack, sometimes they're mozzarella, with
Mhm.
pepperoni wrapped up in kind of a dough and then baked. Now, what's weird
That
about the
sounds
West
good.
Virginia pepperoni rolls is you can find them at any gas station, and they're pepperoni cheese, but they're all shelf stable, so they last for like 6 months. Haven't quite figured that out, but that's okay. They're still great. I've loved them. And so, of course, I have to do one up instead of just grabbing
Mm-hmm.
a biscuit or pizza dough or bread dough and whatever. I have to make my own from scratch. So I
Yeah.
have this recipe for a bread that's out of Avantes in
Mm-hmm.
Bloomington, Illinois, which I may have talked about. But you go get these sandwiches called the gondola. So the gondola in
Mm-hmm.
Bloomington, Peoria, it's this magnificent piece of bread that's probably, I don't know, 15 inches long. And they cut it open and they put like one slice of ham, one slice of cheese, and a little bit of lettuce on this sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And it's the amazing, and they sell thousands of these things a week. And it's all because of this bread. Well, I
Right.
found somebody had a knockoff recipe, or a friend of a friend had a recipe that and so I've been using this bread mix, and really it's like any other bread mix except
Mm-hmm.
for it has quite a bit of sugar in it, so it's got a sweetness to it. But then
Okay.
you work it a lot, so it's pretty
Mm-hmm.
elastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I got Griffin. He's working this dough, and
You
Papa,
probably love that.
so he's kneading it. Of course, it was probably
Mm-hmm.
kneaded too much. So I'm trying to roll out this dough and put pepperoni and cheese in the middle of it and wrap it up and
Mm-hmm.
bake it. And Griffin's over there eating dough out of the bowl. And he's like, "Hey, Papa, want to split this dough ball with me?" "No, Griffin, I'm not. I don't want to." "Okay, I'll just eat it." And I swear the guy ate like a lot of dough.
Griffin's
His
smart
stomach
kind of
probably. Yeah,
guy.
he was at his. I said, "Here, go take this dough to Mimi because Mimi likes dough. She likes all kinds of raw dough." And so he takes it out and he goes, "Oh, Mimi loved it, Papa. Let's have some more." Because I'm so hungry. That's his thing. So anyway, we made the pepperoni rolls, and since I'm not a huge pepperoni fan, even
Mm-hmm.
though instead of buying pepperoni, I went to the deli and had them hand slice me pepperoni or regular slice me pepperoni. And then I had capicola because Sherry's a huge capicola fan. So I had
Mm-hmm.
them. We made capicola rolls and pepperoni rolls, and rave reviews. Everybody loved them.
Did you bring
Of
some?
course, no,
Come on.
Haley took them all.
Fair enough. She's
Haley
moving.
took them
I'll let it
all,
slide.
but they were
I
actually
just have to
amazing.
believe
So
you.
you know, once again, just trying to find something that I've found around the world and trying to remake it. And so, last
Mm-hmm.
night we're getting ready to go to bed, and Sherry's like, "Hey, what about putting burnt ends in you know, or some sort of barbecue in this roll with cheese and whatever?" And you know,
Like the
so
like our ham or something.
yeah, it was just a lot of. It's a lot of work with the
Right.
dough. If I could make it easier to prep,
Mm-hmm.
then it'd be better.
Right.
So I don't know. We may play around with. May play it on the food truck. Food truck's always a great way to
That is a good spot to test out some stuff.
experiment. And now I got pork strami on my mind. So that may, since I'm in town for a week.
Yeah.
You ever had pork strami?
No, but I'm excited to try it.
Yeah. So it's like pastrami, like corned beef or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but you make it with a pork butt, and you cut the end
Yeah.
of the pork butt off,
Mm-hmm.
which we call the capa, and you
Right.
put it out and you brine it for 7 or 10 days. Then you take it out and smoke it. And my buddy Mike Schilling up in Wisconsin,
Mm-hmm.
he made a recipe for pork strami. He actually called me wanting a pastrami recipe, so I gave it to him, and then he made pork strami, and it was easily the top 5 sandwich I've ever had. It was just amazing, and he gave it to me after we had turned in at a barbecue contest, and the last thing you really want is meat. But
Right.
I just wanted another sandwich. It was
That's
crazy.
insane. Yeah. It's one of the perks to this job. I mean, I get to do all of the marketing for Darren Worth. So much fun. But then I also am like a minor professional, kind of, I wouldn't say a professional, but might as well be food taster. And that,
Food taster.
yeah, I don't
and-
make, I just taste.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say
just-
that's leads to what have you DoorDash lately?
Oh. Actually nothing. I haven't been door dashing the last couple of weeks.
Drive-throughing?
A little bit.
Did I give you so much crap about door dashing that you?
No, I haven't been home as much as of lately. But I've been drive-throughs from time to time. I have been making some food at my house. I mean, not really, if you count buttered noodles food, but like a
No,
little
I'm not-
extra shrimp in it.
I'm not
I
counting
just
buttered noodles.
that's
What's
all
the
I have.
ingredients there? Noodles and butter?
Butter, well, and shrimp.
You don't put garlic in your butter?
I don't have no. I could have. I didn't think about that. I don't think
Maybe,
like that.
maybe take a pan and put just a little bit of olive oil and saute some garlic in there,
Mm.
and then add your butter. Because I did that to the pepperoni
Boom.
rolls last night that
Yeah,
normally wouldn't be.
that would
But
be
you make
good.
your kind of own little garlic butter, so when it comes out of the oven, I mean, to me, it would take that dish up. Or maybe some dried
Just
pesto mix.
I really should have. I normally always have pesto on hand, but I went through it, and I don't go grocery shopping very often because I waste more food than I cook. So
Yeah,
um,
I know
I
that
struggle
that is a
being
problem. That's why I
yeah
think, from a restaurant
household of one.
standpoint, Smoky D's,
Yeah.
we're pretty value based when it comes
Mhm.
to stuff, and I hate raising price. I don't think I've raised a
Yeah.
price in a year, and maybe even longer. And I look and I go to the grocery store because I go to the grocery store every day.
Right.
Okay, every day as soon as I leave work, whether it's at 2 o'clock or 5 o'clock, whatever,
Right.
I go to the grocery store and I buy what I'm gonna make for dinner.
Mhm.
Even though I've got a freezer full of stuff, but you got to thaw that out, and
Right.
that takes time. And if I plan it and I thaw it out, then we never
Exactly.
do that, and it's just easier to go buy it. Well, I mean, it's just Sherry and I. Well, of course, I cook for four, but I mean, it's $75 every time. I'm like, you know what I could buy for $75 at Smoky D's?
A whole pit.
A whole pit. Every
A
one of
whole
our what's
pit.
that, 6 or 7 meats and
It's
sides and a
yeah.
rack of ribs and
Have you? So my TikTok has been doing the. There's a thing I don't know if it's still going around, but Texas Roadhouse. If you do, you can get one of their family meals for like
yeah,
30
meal
bucks.
prepping, meal
Yeah,
prepping.
and they're just meal prepping, which I should honestly do, but Texas Roadhouse is a little out of my way. But yeah,
I'm,
it's cheaper, which is
I'm a me-
insane.
I'm a meal prep guy too. I could be a meal prepper. Here's
Right.
the problem is I don't want to
You
eat
don't
the same thing 2 days
yeah.
in a row. It's not that I'm against eating leftovers,
Mhm.
but if I had chicken today,
Right.
I don't want to have chicken tomorrow because then I've lost an opportunity to cook something else. And we might have
Exactly.
talked about that before. But
Yeah.
I'm all about the opportunity to cook.
Yeah, and I like a good leftover every once in a while, but sometimes too many of the same thing. And I'm not home very often on the weekends, so that would be when I'd eat most of my leftovers anyway. So
Yeah,
it's
it's crazy. Like my TikTok, of course, there's
Mhm.
still a lot of yoga poses that are yoga stuff that I'm learning about.
you don't have to tell our listeners that. No need
Yeah,
to scar them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, half the listeners are guys that I
Fair
send
enough.
the yoga poses to.
That's weird.
I hate when somebody sends me something way off the
And
wall.
it messes
And,
up your whole algorithm.
Yeah, like quick.
It's like I know. Yeah. I had a guy or one of my friends used to send me like cringy gamer stuff of like these people just being absolutely
Right.
the weirdest. And now
Right.
it was my feed for like a month and I was like, I don't even like these videos.
Yeah.
I don't like them. Get them out.
Yeah,
This is torture.
So I figured that out. As soon as that happens,
Yeah.
as
Just
soon as
click.
that happens, now you got to start searching for other stuff. So
Oh, you
actually
can-
go search and get
Well,
you back.
Right.
You
or
can-
you can just click not interested. If
How
you
do you
hold
do
down the
that?
video, it'll have a pop-up. So hold it down next time you find a video you don't like, and you can click not interested, and it
Oh.
won't show you that kind of content.
I was wondering why once in a while I've seen that message pop up, but I had no idea how it got there.
Yeah, you're just holding your screen down.
So I must hold my screen down a lot because a lot of times when I pick up my phone, it says,
Yeah,
"Do I
that
want to
doesn't
delete
surprise
this app?" and all the X's are up
Yeah.
and whatever, and I'm like,
Or just
ugh.
You're oppressed. Yeah, so like when you don't want to hold the screen, like it's because the pressure will turn on anything. I've
But
almost deleted multiple
But it'll
apps.
do that in your back pocket too, evidently.
Well, if you don't lock it yourself, so if it's unlocked, and yeah, if something holds it down just right, then yeah, it'll pop up that message.
Huh. Interesting. See, now we're a
Supposed to be-
technology now we're a
Yeah.
technology podcast.
Barbecue business and more. That's our slogan.
Barbecue business and more. Yeah.
literally anything you can think
And
of.
then we don't talk about the barbecue business at all.
We did too.
Oh, okay.
We did. Talked about your competition.
Little
we talked
tidbits.
about catering.
Yeah. Oh, we
This
did. Yeah,
podcast is just.
I see that. I see that a lot because I like to glean information, and one of the things that there was a lot of questions people asking because one of my friends, at the barbecue league, Brad, which is kind of a great barbecue resource, right? So,
Right.
maybe he'll sponsor us. No, I doubt it. We don't have any sponsors, but
We don't need
because then we'd have to answer to people. But anyway, so Brad asked the question, "Hey, I'm going to bring some restaurateurs on here to talk about what do you want to hear?" And the biggest question that everybody was asking is, if I have a choice to go into the barbecue business, do you think I want a restaurant? Do I want a food truck? Do I want a catering business? Right? What do I want to do? Where can I make the most money, and where should I get started? Well, kind of funny because that's
Yeah, you have all three.
Well, we have all three today, and if people say, "How would you start it again?" I mean, there's a lot more money in catering. Okay,
right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you got catering that has a ton of money. Not a ton of money, but I mean, there's good margins because it doesn't take a lot of people to feed. If you're going to feed 500 people, you can do that very easily with 2 people or 3 people. In the restaurant, if you're going to serve 500 people, then you got to have a cashier and a food runner and a dishwasher and prep. So it takes a lot more people. And the food truck is kind of an extension of the restaurant. So, but then the food truck, you have all the maintenance, because food trucks, like we said before, they're like iron-wheeled manure spreaders. So you don't go buy a brand new food truck; it costs you $200,000. No. But so you deal with these old trucks that it seems like you've got the shop on speed dial all the time. So the answer is you ultimately want to do catering, but I'm not sure catering standalone. People have to taste your food,
right?
And so you have to have that way for people to taste your food in order to cater it. And so for years I've said the only reason we ever have a restaurant is so people will walk in the door and taste the food and then cater it for the family gathering or the graduation or the wedding or whatever, because that's where the real money is.
So are you saying that if you would to go back, you would have started like as a restaurant? Because you started as catering.
We started as a catering, but then we knew in order to grow, that's why we opened up the restaurant or the carry-out place. And it could work as catering, food truck, whatever, but you got to have a way for people to normally on a day-to-day basis walk up and taste your food. It can't be, hey, because you started out and people would say, can I come do a tasting menu with you? You know, and they're like, I want to taste this and this. Well, if you're you're a small catering, you're not going to make a batch of potato salad for 2 people or 4 people, right? So
that makes sense.
It's a struggle. Whereas today, hey, can I taste your stuff? Sure, go stand in line, right? You can order it right off the menu. But I think tastings are kind of a thing of the past. Even though when we first started, it was a struggle because people wanted to have tasting, and I said, the way we always did it was, I'm not going to stare at you and watch you eat this food. So what I do is, hey, be here at 5:00. I'm going to have a whole family meal based upon these items for you. You take it home, eat it, make your decision on your own. And it was kind of took the pressure off of them, and I think it worked out.
Yeah, right.
But that's the struggle. That's the struggle starting out is you got to have a way for people to taste your food. They can't just taste it on Instagram or Facebook. You got to have a way to get that food in their mouth in order to cater. And ultimately, catering, if you're running a restaurant and not catering, I'm here to tell you, figure out a way to do it because you're missing out.
Right. Like we're about to start. Well, we've technically started, but really starting to put more caterings on the ghost kitchen side.
Yeah, on the Ornery Chicken Crafty Mac. I mean, that's free revenue. I mean, it's great product, and now you got to figure out what product is best for people.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. That's an interesting way to look at it.
It is.
I wonder, because since you guys technically started as carry-out or as catering and then did the carry-out, did you guys struggle as much with the lack of dining in? that we struggle with now for the ghost kitchens? Was that
No.
as much of an issue? Where
Well, no,
people were
'cause
like, I just want to sit
'cause
down and eat this?
No, because we never had dine-in. We were just carry-out.
Right.
But we were carry-out. So you came in, we made your food, and we had picnic tables
Right.
out front. And if it was wintertime, people just come and go. And there was a little slowdown in the wintertime, but we were small enough that we had all the business that we probably could handle.
Well, I mean, like, in reference to, like, the ghost kitchens we have, like, that seems to be something we do struggle with, is that people are like, well, I just want to be able to sit down and eat this. Do you think, like, why do you think that is such an issue now? Is it because
I don't know. I think people like that, but the problem is, and we struggle with that because we're like, okay, we could put a
Right.
front counter up and we could do a carry out only, but the problem is you got to staff another person. There's added cost,
Yeah.
and then like the ornery chicken, we make every one of those menu items from scratch. So when
Right.
you order a chicken sandwich, it gets breaded to order, right? So if I've got 5 other orders in front of you, it may be 15 minutes before you get your chicken sandwich. Well, could you imagine walking into McDonald's and taking 15 minutes to get your order? You'd have a fit, right? So it's the balance. Would I love to have a drive-through?
Mm-hmm.
Would I ever want to create that into its own restaurant? No way. No, I mean in
Right.
today's
Right.
employment situations and whatever, it's just hard enough to get anybody to work, let alone in the food service business.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true. Yeah, I was just wondering, because we get all sorts of questions and stuff like that, and I was
Yeah,
no, I don't know
yeah.
how to
Just
help you in that
yeah.
department. You can
Find a
help
way
her.
to do catering. Find it. That's my wrap up comment for the day is find a way to do catering. No, if you're going to be in the food business, find a way to cater it, and then
Yeah.
build your other business around it.
That's a good tip. It's a good tip.
Tip.
Well,
Okay.
I think that's all the time we have for today. Darren's
Yeah,
got to get
okay.
back to putting out fires.
It has been a firefighting week.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of moving parts, lots of
We're actually
fires,
recording-
especially when you're gone for 10 days. So you're
Yeah.
gone for 10 days and you come back, and my
We're-
my rules when I walk in, any day that I walk into the restaurant, I walk in the back door and I expect 3 things to be broke. And when 3 things aren't broke, what a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots more than 3 broke this week, but
Yeah.
that's okay. We're getting through it, and it's Friday, and you know what that means
Yeah.
in the restaurant business? That means nothing. It means
Yeah.
tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah. Well, not for me.
Yeah, I
my
know.
weekend starts, which we love to see.
I'm going to put something controversy out on the Facebook page so your phone dings all weekend long. Okay.
I don't
we
need
won't
that
do
kind of stress.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
We
All
won't
right.
do it.
Well,
Okay.
that's that on.
Until next
Yeah.
time,
This is
Emma had a
King Mike.
victory. Emma, that's 3.
That is 3. 3. We are on a streak.
We're on a streak.
Yep. We got to keep going. Keep the ball rolling.
Okay.
If you guys want to hear more, cue the mic. You should like, subscribe, follow, share. I don't know. Do all the things. We're not. I'm not here to pressure you. We just would
Yeah,
like
we're going to
have-
pressure him.
No.
We got to get past 1 follower.
Can you? my mom. See,
Where are we
Yeah.
going to find us at? We're going to be on YouTube, Spotify. What?
we'll be on. Yeah, we're gonna be on YouTube. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere where you listen to podcasts. Obviously, you're listening to this, and then you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We'll be
We
our.
got a do we have a TikTok yet?
Oh, and a TikTok. Yep, we got a
we
TikTok.
do.
Yep,
Okay,
TikTok,
sweet.
Twitter, and Instagram. No Facebook. I don't need
No
that.
Facebook.
Not
You
yet.
no Facebook. Okay.
Maybe in time. We'll see.
Sounds
Yeah.
like deal. Until next
right.
time.
Until
Thanks
next
for listening.
time.
Hope you learned something.
Yeah, this is Cue the Mic.